Hi, this is Neil Boland and let's talk about search engines and particularly what a search engine is. Now, of course, let me Google that for you. The first thing we get in the results here is a program that searches for and identifies items in a database that correspond to keywords or characters specified by the user, used especially for finding particular sites on the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web, of course, is www. I haven't heard that expression for a long time. That's pretty old school. If that makes sense to you, that's great. To me, if I didn't know anything about digital marketing, that would still confuse me just a little bit. I understand it, but maybe if I work for a small business without a digital background, or a medium business, or a large business without a digital background even, I'd be asking for more information. Let me put it in my terms. Google is a search engine. Google has become synonymous with a search engine. These days, Google own most of the search engine market in the Western world. Back in the 90s and probably even before that, I don't know, a search engine was a very competitive market. There were several search engines. If you just look up the search engine list from around about that period until today, you'll see more than 20 odd of them as well. So Google was actually in there, but they had equal competitors in companies like Ask Jeeves, if anyone remembers that, in the 90s. They've become Ask.com. But these days, Google own the whole thing. What exactly does Google do as a search engine in that case? Well, Google is an index, and Google makes note of all the websites around the world. Its systems look at everything and put it in its place as far as what it's about. Quite similar to the way a library or a bookshop does. I like to actually use this kind of reference to have this make sense to people. It is the library of the internet. Now, a library, when you go into a library, you can see everything organised by category, by author, by topic, all sorts of ways that things are actually categorised. Google does this with websites as well. Now, what you need to know about this is Google, as a search function, has a search engine results page, a SERP. And that is the first page that you see when you Google anything. As you can see here for this Google search engine, what is a search engine page? We've got, by default, 10 results on the first page. Okay, that is the default for Google. You can actually set it to bigger than that, but the front page of Google is officially 10 listings of 10 websites as well. So when Google sees content on your website and decides whether it's valuable for the searcher or not so valuable for the searcher, it will push a link to your website, which you can see right here, up or down in the search results. That's what's called a ranking. So if your website has really useful information, not necessarily that you're just trying to sell things, but you're giving the searcher information that's valuable to them, because Google is seen as a source of information, Google will put you further up in the rankings depending on how valuable your information is deemed to be by their crawlers and their robots that go out. So that is how a search engine works. Another way I like to look at it, back to the library, is that the librarian is kind of like Google in a sense, or someone who runs a bookstore. You notice when you walk into a library, you'll see all the books facing spine out, and every 25 books or so, you'll see one that is face out as well, particularly in a bookstore, especially if it's a new book, if it's a popular book, or if the person who runs the bookstore decides that that book is going to provide more value, be more enjoyable, or be more popular with their patrons as well. That's kind of what Google does with a website as well. It gives your website a face out to show the full cover. Sometimes they'll show you more in the search results than just the link and a little description down below as well. And that's showing the searcher, hey, we think this has probably got the most valuable information based on the topic that you just searched in our search engine. Okay, so that is how a search engine works. If you've got any more questions about that, you can contact me at www.gumbo.online and ask any questions you like. See you there.